Hello and welcome to Everyday Therapy Solutions, where psychology is made simple. My name is Jordan Johnson and I'm a clinical therapist in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Throughout my 10 years of experience in the field of mental health, I've helped a lot of people work through their anxiety. And along the way, I've developed some quick tips for finding relief from anxiety that really work. So stick around and we'll look at some simple and practical ways to help your body relax instead of feeling stressed out or worried. Before we get started, help me out and give me a thumbs up at the bottom of this video to show YouTube that this video is worth sharing to other people that might need to know this information. Coping skill number 1, breathing. In our previous video, we covered how your body's response to stress typically is the activation of the sympathetic nervous system, which makes you ready to take action. But those stress hormones that usually come out at the same time don't really help you feel relaxed and calm when that threat has passed. A lot of times anxiety is not really a threat, it's just a response to stress that we feel. And so it's really hard to get that nervous system to calm down unless you to take action. And so the best way to take action is breathing. Breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, it slows your heart rate down, it helps your body feel relaxed, and it gets your mind back in a good spot. It's a lot harder to feel anxious when your body's calm. So today we're going to start with this method of breathing called the 4-square breathing method. There are 4 phases to this breathing process. The first phase is bringing air in. Now when you bring air in, the goal is to try to fill up your whole diaphragm and lungs with air. To do that, you have to breathe in through your nose, out with your mouth. When you breathe in through your nose, you also want to put a hand on your stomach so that you can feel the air pushing your stomach out. And it's not really how we normally breathe. Normally we breathe a lot more up higher and not lower. But when we're trying to slow down our body, we really need to take advantage of as much oxygen as possible. So you're breathing in and you're doing that for 4 seconds. So that's where the count of 4 is helpful. So 1, 2, 3, 4 as you bring it in. And then you're going to hold that air for 4 seconds. Another 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when your lungs are actually empty of air, you're going to hold that for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one cycle, all 4 phases of the 4-square breathing method. So what you do is you just do this and you slow down your breathing over the course of 5, 10, 15 repetitions. And a lot of times that really does help your body recalibrate, balance out, and it does help your mind to feel more clear. So I'm just going to demonstrate it for you for a couple of cycles. So bear with me if this is a little strange on a video, but here we go. And there you have it. Coping skill number 2, music. Music is one of those things that really helps our body to relax. It also helps our mind to really focus on something different if we're having a hard time cycling between different things we're worried about. A lot of times music is something we don't really think about as a way to cope with anxiety and stress. But a lot of times, if you can put on some kind of music while you're thinking things through, while you're trying to calm down, while you're focusing on something positive, that music can really help. So here's an example of music that would not be helpful to managing your anxiety. Do you see how that kind of makes you feel tense? And for some people they like that style of music, so maybe it doesn't help them make them feel tense. But in general, that kind of music isn't going to help you feel calm. Here's an example of some music that would probably help your body to start feeling calm. see how that has a different effect? I mean, even just hearing that music, it starts to kind of bring you some soothing feelings, and that's really what you're going for. You want your body to start calming down and feeling comfortable and safe. Coping strategy number 3 is journaling. Journaling is something that can really be helpful if you're struggling with a lot of racing thoughts and a lot of worries right at the end of the day, especially when it's really keeping you from falling asleep. A lot of times just having a pen and paper right next to your bed is a great time, a great place to put something to help you jot down some ideas, a to-do list, some things you're concerned about, somebody you want to talk to the next day, just to get all that information from your mind to a piece of paper. Because sometimes the stress builds when you feel overwhelmed and you're worried that you're going to actually forget something important that you need to be aware of the next day. And so your mind is trying to make sure you don't forget it. Well, the problem is when your mind is doing that, you actually aren't falling asleep. So it's really helpful to get that on paper, because then you can just remember that the next day by looking at that paper as a reference. Another thing that can be used along this line of journaling would be using your smartphone with an app that might be helping you check in with your mood or check in on what's been going on. Or even just a basic note-taking app like Evernote, where you could write a note in your phone and then you have that access to that note later on. Then that particular app, it doesn't matter where you're logging into Evernote, you can have access to those notes from different devices even. One other app would be something called Dailyo. That app can check in with you throughout the day and kind of get you to type in a little bit about how you're feeling, or do just an emoji symbol to see how you're feeling that moment and give a little reason why. Sometimes tracking your mood can be helpful in figuring out what kinds of things really stress you out. So journaling can be a great step to getting those things from your mind onto paper. And sometimes even just when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out with a lot of different things or some worries that are really important, putting it on paper helps you to start figuring out what you can do about it. Sometimes when it's in our minds, we don't start making an action plan. We just feel overwhelmed. And so when you put it on paper, a different part of your brain is used when it's evaluating what's going on, what do we need to do about this, how can I solve this problem instead of just feeling overwhelmed. So journaling is another thing that can be helpful. Coping strategy number 4. This one is called reducing your negative thought patterns. Now, this is a topic that you would probably spend quite a bit of time in a therapy session talking about with your therapist if you did decide to get some professional help for your anxiety. Negative thought patterns are really tricky, and a lot of times there's a lot more going on than just cycling through negative thought patterns. Sometimes there's some beliefs under the surface that are causing us to feel insecure about ourselves or not very confident, and those beliefs can be things like, I'm not good enough, I always fail, nobody will like me if I can't do things perfectly. There's a lot of things that can keep us from feeling positive and thinking positive thoughts. So using some thought-stopping strategies and controlling those negative thinking patterns, that can be really helpful when it comes to trying to stay positive. One of the ways that I help people deal with negative thought patterns is by evaluating their thoughts with the guide of the 2 words, accurate and helpful. So is this thought accurate, or is it just kind of based on some fears that I have, or maybe something that's not true or not even logical? Or is it actually true? Is it accurate? Is something I need to consider from the standpoint that it will actually need to be addressed? A lot of times anxiety is our way of trying to make sure we're ready for something coming up. And so if the thought that we're thinking is accurate and we do need to take action, it's good to know that we can take action and try to overcome that problem. But if it's not an accurate thought, then we have to replace that thought with something that is accurate. The other word is helpful. Sometimes something could be accurate. So something like, I failed my test at school, so I must not be a good student. That might be accurate that you failed your test, but is it helpful to really beat yourself up about not being a good student? That's not really going to motivate you to be better next time. It's going to make you feel really bad about yourself, and it will probably cycle as a negative thought pattern, and it'll probably make it hard for you to succeed. So thinking about things with that framework of, is this really accurate? Is this helpful? And then replacing those thoughts with something that is accurate and is helpful. Coping strategy number 5, reduce stimulants. Sometimes your body gets too overwhelmed with the stimulants that you put in it, which causes that anxiety to build. And so a lot of times things like caffeine, tobacco products, sugar, those things, if you're able to cut those down or cut those out completely for a while, you'll start to notice that your body is also going down in intensity or in stress level. If you think about what your normal routine is, do you have that extra cup of coffee when you're feeling slow or tired? Are you, having an energy drink when you need to get through the rest of your day? Those things can really add to your stress level. And so thinking about reducing those stimulants is a good strategy as well. Number 6 is a bonus tip for sticking around this long, and that's confidence mindset. When you are feeling anxious or stressed out, a lot of times there also comes along with it this insecurity or this feeling like you can't do something that you need to do. So if you can work really hard at developing a confidence mindset, that will counteract that, and it'll help you feel like you can do whatever you need to do, no matter what the situation is. It's this idea that no matter what life throws at you, you can figure out a solution. Your life's not going to be over. You'll have people that can support you. You have your own skills to overcome things. And, sometimes it even helps to look back in the past and say, I've been through this, and this, and this, and I'm still here. I'm still doing fine. And I think sometimes we forget about the successes that we've had when we're feeling overwhelmed, because those things seem like they're such distant things compared to the big stressor that's in front of us. But when we're able to think about the way that we've overcome problems in the past and bring that to mind right in the present, that really does give us that extra boost of morale and energy to help us get through our day and to put that anxiety behind us. And a confidence mindset, that's something that will really help you find success in a number of different areas, not just with anxiety. So it's a good thing to practice. Sometimes even just saying some positive affirmations in the mirror, that can sometimes retrain your brain to have some positivity instead of being stuck in a negative thought pattern. So thanks for sticking around for this entire video if you're still here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments about what's worked for you to manage your anxiety. So please leave a comment in the section below this video, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about anxiety. Thanks for watching and have a great day.